With the NHL trade deadline only a few days away, the Boston Bruins have seemed to be ready to make some moves, and the plan has finally been revealed for what they want to do. Now, before we get into this news, this is a brand new channel joining the Digest Media Company, where we post all sorts of trades, signings, reports, rumors from your Boston Bruins. So if you want to get up to date with all of that and stay right there with all the news, make sure to hit the sub button and join us along this journey, because it's going to be a very, very fun ride. But like I said, let's get straight into this. The trade deadline plan has been revealed from the Boston Bruins. In an interview with The Athletic, Cam Neely said that he expressed the same desire to add some more grit before the March 8th trade deadline. The Bruins did that internally by calling up 6'5", 220-pound Justin Brazeau on February 18th. But Neely, like Sweeney, thinks that they need to look externally for more players like that on the NHL trade market. Now, a player like Justin Brazeau of that size don't come every day, and that's no surprise to anybody, but the Bruins seem to be ready to make some moves, like I said, and they want to get at it right away. We know last year the way the trade deadline worked that the trade deadline day was not that eventful, but the days leading up to it, there was a lot of trades of people getting ready to make their moves before other teams can make that move on the player they want. But continuing on this article, Cam Neely said that another stiff defender would be good. Fluto Shinzawa said from that interview on Monday with The Athletic from Neely, and you could always use it to help on offense. Obviously, I like the size of Brazeau. That adds an element to the bottom part of our lineup we haven't had for a while. Richard, love the speed of his tenacity. He's more physical than I anticipated him being, which is a good thing. That an element where we can probably play a little more physical than we have. I'm not talking about putting someone in the third row, but just creating a little more anxiety, which is a very good part of NHL nowadays. You know, you don't have too many physical teams. That's what the Bruins have been known for a long time, is their physicality, their grit, and teams are scared to play this team because they have always been a scary team no matter when. But, you know, the trade deadline, like I said, a few days away, and there hasn't been too many moves yet, so that means that a lot of these players are still available. There's a lot of players under these categories that Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, the Boston Bruins have been looking for. So you can see here, this is from TSN's top list. I picked the first 17, and you can probably choose here a few players that the Boston Bruins would be going after. You know, the number one in my mind immediately is Noah Hanifin on that defensive side, the left defense. That side's been very, very injured this season, so adding another strong piece like Noah Hanifin, although his cap hit is close on $5 million and some things would have to be done for him to be able to get to Boston, his hometown, I think it would be a very smart move by the Bruins, especially if they can get an extension done with him. You know, he's only 26. He's been a defenseman in the league now who's been capable of holding his own for a long time, and it being him being on the trade market is something that, you know, I don't think a lot of people anticipated going into this season. But, you know, there's also some many depth centers, depth forwards that are a possibility for this Bruins team. One I like is Frank Vetrano as well. You can see there at 17. He's been just kind of a solid player his entire career. You know, he's been a guy who you'll put in the middle of your lineup, someone that can always help wherever you need him to. And Nick Dowd is another one who's kind of a sneaky one in my opinion, that he's lower on this list. He's making not much money, so it would be an easy acquisition by the Bruins if they choose to. You know, there's a lot of options that Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, all these guys will have to go over, but the main problem that they have to sort out first, before making any of these moves, is their cap space. Currently, they have $57,000 in cap space, and that won't get you much in this year's trade deadline. But, you know, I do believe the Bruins are willing and ready to make some moves to be able to free up this cap space, due to them saying that they're going to have to search externally for players that they're going to want. You know, there's not too much size in this year's trade deadline. Once again, I'll pull up these top 17 here, and there are many, many more. I just kind of fit the most enticing players here. But, you know, there's a lot of guys that, like Adam Henrique, Jake Gensel, those guys are some of the top names, once again, in this trade deadline that I still believe could be a possibility for the Boston Bruins. However, I think the cap would be a bit of an issue if they acquire a guy like Noah Hanifin. That way you'd have to clear up nearly $10 million on a contract of cap space, and that would just be pretty tough to do within these 5 days leading up to the deadline. So, you know, there's obviously other options on that left side of the defense. You know, Jacob Chychrun is there as well, a guy who's also on a one-year deal left, going into an extension year next season, possibly signing him. He gives you a 2-year option from this year, next season, then again with the possibility of re-signing. So, I think the Bruins are certainly going to go out and look for a left-handed defenseman. I would say that's number one priority. That's the first thing that Neely said, making me believe that is really what they're going after in this one. They want another forward. Maybe if they can get it, they'll take it. If they don't, it is what it is. There's nothing you can really force upon players, force upon teams now that in the deadline where you're looking for something. You kind of got to pick with what you have. So another defender, which there's plenty of, and a sizable forward, I think is one thing that the Bruins will be going after. At least two is what my assumption will be. Will it happen? I don't know. The Bruins definitely are an enticing team for many players. A team who have definitely decreased over the last few seasons, but are still right there. If they get that little bit more help, I think this team could go right back where they were, right back where they want to be. And, maybe creating cap by trading Linus Ullmark is an option. I've seen many reports of that. I don't know if this is going to be the number one option, the number one thing the Bruins want to do. I think it'll be a lot of what they get in return will be the answer if that does go or not. But, that's still in the works for many teams. Many teams are looking for goalies. Now that Jacob Markstrom's not in the market, that's going to be another one that people are going to be looking at, making it a possibility, making the return possibly more enticing for the Bruins that, they have, I would say, the number one goalie on the trade market right now. Well, you can see there that Jacob Markstrom is number two, but the Calgary Flames have said he's not going nowhere. Marc-Andre Fleury is also there. The Wild have said he's not going nowhere. So, you're kind of left with scraping the bottom of the barrel if you're looking for a very, very good goalie, because there's really only one in this year's deadline. So the Bruins, I think, have a play in hand with, with Linus Ullmark, just to make him available, make him in the trade talks, I guess. But obviously a lot of things are going to go down over the next few days. So the Bruins are looking for that defender, looking for that extra forward if they can get one. But that's kind of their plan. Their plan has kind of been revealed by Cam Neely. He spilled the beans. There's going to be a lot of teams now that once Neely said this, maybe put a name out there. Maybe put a name that will entice them. Maybe not even on the market, but a team that may not be performing up to what they want to. Maybe are deciding to teeter towards a rebuild. Maybe deciding to teeter towards a retool. So, putting your name out there, putting your wants out there is a very good decision by Neely to get these players, to get teams moving some names around that you might not see every day. But the Bruins have a lot of flex, I guess you could say. They want players. Players want to go to Boston, so it's a very good matchup. But we'll see what happens over the next few days. A lot of videos are coming down the pipeline here. We have a lot of stuff planned for this channel over the next few weeks, so you're going to want to make sure to hit the sub button to join us along this Boston Bruins trade deadline and also the rest of the season, because we're going to have a lot of fun here and joining along the rest of the Digest Media Company. But that's all I got. Make sure to hit the sub button, like the video if you did enjoy. Like I said, a lot more stuff coming, so stay tuned for that. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.